Good evening, speed gaming, and welcome to the Link to the Past Randomizer daily race. We've got quite the mode for you tonight. It is Open Flute, which is regular open, only the runners start with a pre-activated flute, because why not? I'm Drosy. I'm here with my good buddy Homemade Beer. How are you doing tonight?
Good. Hey, Drosy. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited for this mode. Should be cool. I mean, he's starting with a pre-activated flute. It's been around for a few months now. I've seen it in mystery races. I don't think I've seen a race specifically dedicated to this mode, though. So I'm very curious how it'll all pan out.
Yeah, I gotta say this is the first time I've actually seen this mode, so I'm sure it'll be fun.
Yeah. Now, the interesting thing is that it only actually adds a single location to Sphere 1, logically, the inside of Spectacle Rock, because now you can just flute to 1 and check it. But everything else, it's just a matter of getting around the map faster and not having to find that flute later.
Yeah, and I'm sure no one will break logic in this race, so, we'll wait to find a lamp before we rescue the old man in the cave, among other things.
Well, what'll also be interesting is we'll see a whole lot less save and quits than usual, I think.
That's a very good point, yep. It also it makes a couple checks, a couple out-of-the-way one-off checks that people like to skip just a tad bit easier, You can flute closer to Agina, flute closer to Ice Rod Cave, etc.
Yeah, fluting to 8 is always nice. Meanwhile, we are already off. And indeed, Link to the Past Ken just fluted to 3 right off the bat. The other runners are checking the Hyrule Castle area. It looks like Zeruvian is doing a Houlihan. For those of you who might not know, there's a bug in the vanilla game where if the game doesn't know where to send you, it will send you to this lovely room filled with floopies.
Yeah, a nice way to farm early money and get ready to do some Zora action if you need to. We got Ken throwing chickens through the wall. Let me get a little tree pull here as well from Zeruvian.
Yeah, I haven't been keeping track, so I don't know what tier it is.
Yeah, it's probably just tier 1 if I were to guess, because I don't think he had a chance to kill that many enemies yet.
That's true. When you don't really have weapons, and all you can do is throw bushes at them. Though Orange went and bought bombs.
Yeah, this is fun. We have everyone in kind of a different place right now, so it's a little interesting to keep track of what's going on, and I don't think we found anything quite useful for progression yet. But definitely gone cross-eyed up to this point.
Well, Ken's found us a sword and cack that I'm assuming all the other runners will get because... Oh, 2 swords, okay. And likewise, I didn't see what was on race game, but Orange avoided that duck, so it's got to be something good.
Looks like Zeke is giving the chickens a break today.
So yeah, 1 sword in the back of Cackwell and 1 in Blindset On. That's the book on race game.
Oh boy, can't pick up an item when you flute.
Orange being just a little bit too hasty.
So yeah, pretty typical openers. You know, go get everything out of CAC early. It's the most dense place to get everything. You know, it's usually the first place most runners go.
Yeah, I mean, I understand though that you might want to raise some money to buy bombs or else try to find bombs. But Ken seems to not be having cash problems. There having been quite a bit of cash in Kakariko. Zeruvian's also at that point now put that together with his Houlihan, and he already has Zora money.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see so far that Kakariko's come up pretty dry except for these two swords.
Which is a big except, but yes, I see where you're going with it.
I missed Lumberjack. It was really hard to tell from Ken's stream.
I also don't think these runners are in a rush to do Aghanim, even with that Master Sword, unless the lamp shows up.
You never know, they might get ambitious. Probably not a good idea if you don't even have Moon Pearl yet, though.
And even if Lumberjack has something interesting, well, we don't have the boots, so we're missing an item for any ugly thing we might want to do. But yeah, I'd say South Shore's got to have something.
Yeah, it's interesting too with Open Flute, since they have the book, it's not terribly out of the way to go pop into Desert real quick and check the ledge as well. I don't remember if we've seen that. There was too much going on at the very beginning of this.
No one's been down that way. I mean, because when you go there, you also want to check Aegina, which means you also want to have bombs. And since they didn't have bombs off the bat, I don't think anyone's been there yet.
Yep, that makes a lot of sense.
And that was a map check that looked like a regular crystal on Eastern, a 5/6 on Hera, and a blue pendant on Desert.
Oh, perfect. So we have the book to get into the pendant dungeon. That's exactly what we should do.
Of course we do. Oh, and hey, you were saying no. You were saying no one would go out of logic and rescue the old man, and you're right. Zara is just a figment of our imaginations here. Nothing to see here, folks.
Yeah, this check doesn't exist.
So nothing in the dam area.
So I know Ken's in Desert. Did we see the ledge? I actually missed it.
I didn't catch it.
We got 10 arrows, sounds like, from our tracker.
And nothing on the old man, and Ken's already found one of the items in Desert, and that means that there's a key on the torch and we can't go any further.
So Orange with the play of the day, getting the Moon Pearl out of Mini Moldorm Cave.
I said there'd be something south side.
Yeah, we're kind of running out now. I think Saha Eastern is the last in logic stuff we can do.
Have we seen Aegina yet?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Because Ken's heading there now. But yeah, we are a lamp away from Aga, and other than that, we would need 2 items for Dark World access, so it is starting to look like an Aga seed.
And we get the best quote from Agina.
I missed it. I assume it's the one about the jazz hands guys, right?
It sure was.
Okay, because I think that's triggered by having the Master Sword when you talk to him. Because
okay, I thought it was fully randomized that he says a bunch of, any number of different things.
No, I think it's triggered by inventory, and if you have less than that, that's when he talks about the fish dinner. And we've got Orange and Zeke both fake flippering here. With that Moon Pearl, I'm not surprised because they can then go into Waterfall Cave, and they certainly have Zora money, so I fully expect them to do that after they check Hobo here. Blue Mail's a nice quality of life improvement.
Yeah, I'm sure that they're both starting to sense Aghanim Seed and, really trying to see if they have any options out of it as early as they can. Even out of logic. Of course, like you said, you don't want to do it without Lamp anyway, so.
Yeah. At this point, wait for what shows up. And maybe we're lucky enough to get either Titan's Mitts or a Glove and a Hammer. It is worth noting that Zora is actually out of logic without either the flippers or a glove.
Yeah, Flute's not going to save you from that.
I didn't see what was on Zora Ledge, did you?
Nothing important. I think it was 20 rupees. Ooh, wow, look at the red cane here on Zora.
Yeah, it doesn't get us anything, but chances are very high that we will need it eventually.
Yeah, it's also interesting to kind of figure out, what locks the cane is glove or flippers, right?
Right. Now, we haven't seen the Dark World. Our 2 other pendants could be Mire and Turtle Rock. So yeah, now I think we're just down to Saha's Closet and Eastern.
Yeah, I think people really don't want to go to Eastern area.
I mean, we don't have a lamp or a bow. I can't blame them. So yeah, they're retracing each other's steps now, though. I think they'll be out of desert. Oh no. Sorry, I thought Orange had somehow stolen a key, but then I realized without the glove, you can't even steal a key from the back. Well, one thing we know, they'll all converge on Eastern here because they're all exhausting everything else.
Yeah, it's starting to feel like they're all going to get there right about the same time.
I think Orange is going to be first because...
there we see a full heart container, not a red ruby, so...
Oh, Orange hasn't been up the mountain yet. Excuse me, princess. That was to Zelda, not to you.
Well, so what do you think? Are we going to see a lamp as soon as we get over to Saha? Back of the closet, as they say?
That's the most likely thing, though I could see the game burying the lamp in Eastern at this point. So Zeke's actually our first to that area.
So we found some information. We have green pendant pod.
Okay, so that cane of Samaria is definitely required then. And there was the lamp in Saha's closet, as you thought.
That's interesting too. I'm wondering now, did we see escape?
Oh, everyone always forgets that in open mode, and that includes us.
Yeah, I just realized we didn't see any of escape, front or back. And I think with the glove, it's an easy play to check the back first and then go through the front. And it's not a bad choice to do last, as Zeke is doing in the scenario when you don't find anything you need. You can just go straight to Aga afterwards.
Well, and Orange is doing the front first, which could be out of logic depending on where the small key is. But, I mean, we know it's in logic because we know where the glove is.
Right, exactly.
And the lamp. Okay, and that key does put it all in logic even without the glove.
Okay, yeah, so this is actually pretty interesting if we find Dark World access in one of these two areas. I think both of these plays are good plays, actually, too.
Yeah, nothing in Eastern so far.
Although it's interesting, Zeke is the only one, or is that true? Zeke's the only one who went to Saha, or did... Oh, it looks like Ceruvian did as well.
But even so, Zeruvian is doing the front of escape first. That's a bit surprising.
Yeah, I think maybe they're trying to route in the least number of save and quits, so, you know, get all the items out of the way and then won't have to death warp and can just go check the back real quick and then navigate Dark Cross from the back if necessary. That's what I would guess is happening here.
I guess. I don't remember whether the map was already in Sank.
There it is.
Oh, in Zelda's cell. So yeah, I guess there is an item in Dark Cross then.
Yeah, now I wonder if Orange is going to do the full escape sequence without the glove. So it looks like Eastern came up dry for Zeke.
Not too surprised. I think Dark Cross and back of our escape are our last hope.
Yep, and we see a piece of heart in Dark Cross. So we're about to know, is it an Agaseed?
Zeruvian will be our first here in the back of escape. But with the Flute for making getting around easy, I don't blame these runners for totally last locationing Aga, and it is an Agaseed.
Yeah, agreed. It's easy to just go grab every single check, especially after you have you're only one item away.
Right, it's funny that the glove and the lamp turned up at the same time, so right as Aga goes into logic, you're now only one item away from Dark World access without Aga.
Exactly. Just that glimmer of hope. So I think if I were to guess here, Orange might find the glove and lamp and go straight to Aga, but we'll see if he decides to dip Eastern as well. It's definitely a choice. It's definitely something you can decide what you think makes more sense based on how the seeds played out so far.
And we're getting the final, like, last-ditch check spec rock effort from Zeruvian and Link to the Past Ken. And Zaro is gonna do Eastern, just got a last location Aga.
Yeah, I don't think it's a terrible choice. It would be a hard one for me to decide. I might just go straight to Aga at this point because you can go to Eastern and it takes a fair amount of time, or just go straight to Aga and then you have Dark World access. But even once you get in the Dark World, you don't have much. They don't have very many items. You have, I guess, Pyramid Ledge, Catfish, and a bit of Pod. Potentially, I mean, maybe even not that without a bow.
Yeah, but it is important that you mention Catfish now that we do have that one glove once we get Dark World access. That's there. Oh, and now that we know it's an Aga seed, I should put a prediction in chat.
But yeah, actually, now that I'm thinking about it out loud, there's like potentially the same number of checks by, Eastern versus going into the Dark World, except for, depending on if Pod is bow locked or if the progression is on Catfish or Pyramid Ledge.
So apologies that Twitch won't let me call them blue balls, but we do have a prediction in chat for how many blue balls from Aga.
What's the alternate word?
I called them blue shots. Can't believe Twitch censors that. Not as bad as the word Armos, though. Don't even think about typing that in chat. Twitch will censor you for life.
Yeah, it's interesting to see. I'm curious. I'm wondering now what's going to blow the seed open. Like, it could be one of those where you just get, like a hook shot from from Catfish, which would open up either left side Dark World or the mountain, and then give the runners a pretty good divergence point that they can choose from there.
Yeah, I think the most likely possibilities are the Mitts, the Hammer, or the hook shot, but maybe the Mirror, because that would open Tower of Hera.
Ooh, yeah, that would be a pretty linear open in that case. Looks like we have some sync here as well from Zeruvian and Orange.
Yeah, they've been synced for several rooms now.
So we're going to have a synced Aga fight?
Most likely. Oh no, Orange wants the health. Darn, ruining the sync.
Maybe he can catch up.
To answer chat, the number of blue balls from Aghanim is seeded, so every runner, assuming they don't miss an energy ball shot, we'll get the same number of blue balls. Wow. We have a whole lot of people who are convinced that Aga is not going to be friendly today. Because if you're wondering the odds, there's an 11 in 32 chance of 2 or fewer, 10 in 32 of exactly 3, and then 11 in 32 of 4 or more. So, yeah, it's about 2 to 1 in favor of 3 or more, but the odds are Zero Wing is just betting everything, and the optimists are going to be very rich with Zero Wing's channel points if there are 2 or fewer.
Yeah, it sounds like Zero has a very good chance of winning 1,000 more points, just in case of very few blue balls.
See, I didn't want to make it 3 or fewer versus 4 or more because I thought no one would vote for 4 or more. I didn't think no one would vote for 2 or fewer. Yeah, Orange and Zeruvian once again synced up. I just realized also, you know, with the Master Sword like this, they're basically doing the tower the way the game intends you to. Imagine that.
Yeah, I think they're a little thrown off by not having a bow and a boomerang, so they're not gonna be able to do a couple of the NMG strats here, but
So here we are. No hook shot for, you know, the nice hook speed into the room here. You know what's funny? People have been complaining about the stand hard mode being too linear, and look at how linear this seed has been so far. Even though it was supposed to really open things up.
yeah, right. Yeah, my experience with the tournament settings so far has been fairly linear versus absolute clown show, and I've enjoyed every one I've played.
And as we go to the first lightning flash, we have gotten no blue balls so far. There's our first one. And one it is. Some players are about to get very rich with fake channel points.
All right, we have a pendant crystal check, and we have Thieves Town pendant, Skullwoods red crystal, and then we knew that pod was the green pendant.
Oh, and there's the hookshot on Pyramid Ledge.
All right, here we go. Hookshot time. Let's see if the choice is Mountain versus West Dark World here. I would probably assume West Dark World because I would imagine that they wouldn't want to go up the mountain with at least either the hammer or the mitts to make more available checks.
Yeah, now the inconvenient thing about going around this way is you don't have too many outs. Oh, and Orange is going to do Catfish first. Might as well get it out of the way. It's a pretty orphan check since all the runners have already done Zora.
Yeah, that's a good point. There's nothing else up there.
Catfish gives us mail. Not that red mail's a huge upgrade once you already have blue, but not something you're going to turn down either. And yes, at Homemade Beer's request, we're going to have another prediction coming up here, so hold on one moment.
And it looks like Link to the Past, Ken, is joining them in the Dark World. Will receive his hookshot momentarily.
Since no one has the boots, it'll be a bit till someone gets to the Village of Outcasts, so we can ask you now, which will show up first, Hammer or Titansmiths? Either one of those would open up the seed quite a bit. Because right now, we can't finish Skull Woods without the Fire Rod, of course, and we can't full clear Thieves Town. We can finish it, though if the small key is in the big chest, it would be logically hammerlocked. But if there isn't a small key in the big chest, then we'd be orphaning an item in the big chest. So either way, Thieves Town isn't that appealing of a play. Probably do the front four, though.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting choice that that you find yourself, not super often, but every once in a while, you find yourself needing to go into Thieves Town without a hammer and hoping that you don't leave anything behind, because it's not a fast chest to get back to, especially if you're gonna last location at it effectively if you don't have the hammer and there's something in the big chest.
And of course, it had to be Pendant Thieves too.
Oh yeah, totally standard. Troll Seed's gonna troll.
But middle of Skull Woods definitely is easier because of that Cane of Samaria. Oh, and Link to the Past, Ken is the only one of our runners to take that hook shot to East Death Mountain, so we'll see if anything shows up here. We've got 8 checks, 7 in Paradox, 1 in Spiral.
Yeah, I applaud this play from Ken. Definitely makes the viewer experience more interesting.
Nothing in Skull Woods so far. Got a red meringue in Lower Paradox. Or is it Upper? It's a Paradox.
Well, the real question is, which one is it in the spoiler log?
I think the spoiler log calls that one Upper and this room Lower, which I don't like. I go by the inside rather than the outside. So, Paradox Cave was a bust.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Skull Woods was a bust.
Well, Skull Woods wasn't a pendant, so we knew there wasn't going to be anything in there.
Ken misses the bomb jump out of Paradox Cave. Oh, and Orange is going in to at least do the front 4 of Pendant Thieves.
Ken executing it nicely. First try, the second time.
Bombos is interesting, doesn't really do anything for us without the mitts.
Drossi, did you see what was on Floating Island? I saw Ken look at it and I couldn't make it out. It looked like it could have been a rod.
No, I was looking elsewhere, like I was looking at Zeruvian turning up the bow in the brewery.
Ooh, Ken getting a sword. That's a bit of worth.
Yeah, but still no progression. And Thieves didn't have anything, but that bow definitely opens up some things logically. We know we can do all of Pod except the boss. We can do the boss of Eastern if we want.
And Bombos as well in Thieves Town. How many items was in the front there?
I think 2. It's hard to count when you're keeping track of 4 screens. So Zeruvian will finish this loop with Stumpy and Hype Cave, and then he'll have to figure out where he's going. Logical options would be either Pod or East Death Mountain. I think, though, that Armos Knights does have an item. I believe we've only seen 2 items in Eastern so far.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. That's pretty out of the way for these runners at this point. I can't imagine them wanting to go in there anytime soon if they open up anything else besides that at this stage, because of walking through Eastern twice is something you never want to do. And to see
Right, and without either the mirror or the hammer, they can't combine it with Pod.
Exactly.
There's Ice Rod, another item we'll need eventually, but it doesn't do us any good for the moment.
Yeah, I'm imagining Zeruvian goes to Pod now because they have up to 5 items in Logic here. Or goes to the mountain. Right, I forgot. Ken was the only one on the mountain.
Yeah, and the mountain is 8 items versus 5 potentially in Pod, so I don't blame him for this play. And Tempered will be nice.
Definitely. Yeah, curious to see where Orange goes next here. Looks like save and quit, probably up the mountain as well.
But hey, well, while we're going over all these locations that we're familiar with, this is a good time to tell you to follow the runners. I have to imagine they'll all be participating in main tournament qualifiers, which are now beginning in less than 3 weeks. So you'll get plenty of opportunities to see more of them.
Yeah, it seems like we're going to see a bit of step retracing here. Did you want to talk a bit about the main tournament just for a minute or so?
I want to wait for whatever that was on Floating Island to come. Oh, that's Fire Rod on Floating Island.
It was a rod. Okay.
Yeah, I thought I caught it out of the corner of my eye when Zara did it on the comm restream, and so I was waiting for it to come up on the Twitch restream. So yeah, we are going to need that mirror sooner rather than later, I think, because it now locks 3 dungeons, Swamp, Skull Woods, and Turtle Rock. But yes, as Homemade Beer said, we do have this main tournament coming up. And qualifiers start on March 21st, and it will be using the so-called stand hard mode, which is a regular standard seed, randomized weapons, and hard item pool, just to make it a bit more of a challenge.
Yeah, looking forward to lots of bombs on Uncle openings.
Hey, remember how you said no one would go back in and do Eastern?
Here we are.
Which means we still haven't seen the inside of Pod yet. And whatever's on Armos Knights plus Pod. Oh, and Orange is going in there too. Orange and Zeruvian really seem to think kind of similarly.
Yeah, I guess this is a fine play. You have to do the dungeon anyway. You might as well knock it out with all the items you need to complete it in logic.
So here we have it. Will Armos Knights give us progression, or are we hard locked into going into Pod because we have exhausted everything else? We are going into Pod.
Well, at least they got a refill on their ammo after the fight.
Yeah, and, you know, at 40 minutes, the first crystal of the game.
At least it was a crystal.
I don't think anyone would have gone back in there for a pendant. At least not before trying Pod.
Well, if it was a pendant, then there might have been progression on the boss. You know, I'm just always hoping for troll seeds. That's all.
I think this seed has been trolly enough at this point. I mean, we could start talking about what items could be on PED.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I'm like, well, what could we find on PED? How can we make this really trolly?
Well, we'd need to first find the boots because Desert is boots locked. We'd need the hammer to finish Pod.
I think we could have mirror on PED.
We could. Because we know we have entrance to Desert.
Maybe flippers?
I think any remaining required item except for hammer or boots could be on PED. We could have Titan's mitts on PED.
That would be a good one. It would kind of hurt the prediction, though.
Yeah, does it count as finding it?
Actually, yeah, I guess. Oh, they were in the Dark World. Yeah, you wouldn't. If you had the mirror, they would have checked PED, probably. Or potentially, rather.
Right, there's just no good way to do it. So Zeke's already on Bolock's side. He did not go up the middle with that key from Shooter Chest.
Yeah, chat's pointing out, too, no one actually dipped the back of Thieves. Everyone wanted to wait for the hammer just to be safe.
That's true. So I guess this isn't quite a hard last location. Okay, so we've seen the two non-small key items in the front of pod. We got bombs on the bridge chest and big key in the map chest. And Zeke taking a very painfully slow death warp. But hey, at least we get to enjoy that pendant dungeon music.
Is it true that the dungeon music is actually randomized, so you wouldn't know the pendant versus crystal? Or is that only on shuffle modes?
Only when maps are shuffled.
Got it, okay.
If maps are in their regular dungeons, then pendant dungeon music is in pendant dungeons and crystal dungeon music is in crystal dungeons.
Yep, that makes sense.
And then, of course, with MSUs, anything goes. Some MSUs follow that rule. Some MSUs strictly tie certain tracks to certain dungeons. Hey, there's a shovel. He shows us what he thinks of that.
Well, we found ether and in Harmless, and that makes me want to say that I hope both of the other coin lock dungeons are Quake.
Of course. And Zeke doing a bomb jump here. So we, between Big Chest, Dark Maze, and Helmasaur, we have the map, the compass, and two more items.
Looks like Zaru gave the shovel chest a piece of his mind as well with the arrow to the face.
I don't quite know why Zeke is so keen on the bomb jump here. Other than, I guess, he skipped a key in the front, and so this means if he needs to someday go to Helmasaur, he won't have to first go searching for a key.
Yeah, that must be it, but looks like it's coming up empty anyway.
Yeah, and Helma does have that final item, too.
And we have Ken with his first crystal here.
And we have this amazingly linear seed where we are now down to shovel location or back of thieves.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see when you have as many runners on Restream that all make almost basically the same choices. Like any one of them could have just finished Thieves at the time, but decided against it. I guess it is a pendant as well, but.
Next time someone complains about how linear Stand Hard is, I'm going to throw this seed in their face.
And back of Thieves it is.
Well, at least we know where it is. And
as you point that out, so do all the runners.
Well, Ken hasn't been into pod yet.
Ah, that's a good point. He'll find out soon. But yeah, this is a long way to walk back to get to Thieves Town, having to take the Aga portal, hookshot across, walk the entire North Dark World route.
Right, because, hey, no boots.
What if the answer was boots in the back of thieves? How would you feel behind at that point? Without knowing everyone else is in there at the same time as you?
You have to assume no one did the back of pendant thieves before they absolutely had to.
I forget, was there actually anything in the front though? I think we said there was 2 items and nothing
There was
of
bombos.
Bombos, fair enough. Does that mean Zeruvian doesn't have bombos marked? Is this his first dip into thieves?
That it is.
Oh, it is. Yeah, okay.
And Zeke's now on his... Well, he has bombos already, and he does not have a small key, so... Either our progression is in Blind's chest, or Blind's chest has the small key. Because if Blind's chest doesn't have the small key, then Attic and Blind are both logically hammerlocked, and we wouldn't be able to have progression in here.
Yeah, it's funny you say that about the key logic. I literally learned that today on a seed that I played.
Yes, because if you were crazy enough to steal the key out of this room Zeke's now entering, and go down to the basement and use it to enter the big chest room, which we can't actually get without the hammer, you wouldn't be able to go up to the attic, or and therefore you wouldn't be able to bomb the floor and face Blind either. So, what do you think? Is our progression going to be in Blind's chest, or is that going to be the small key and we will have to take Blind debt to the sun?
I want to say it's on the boss.
I'm feeling that too.
What are you thinking for a progression here? Mushroom?
I'm kind of feeling mirror. Though this is Thieves, so it would make sense for it to be the Mitts.
It's true, yeah, some French vanilla action going on. What about bottle? What if we find a bottle on?
Oh no, I didn't even think about that.
How can we make this worse? That's what I'm really asking.
Especially without, any good Dark World access.
Oh, you called it.
I mean, it's Thieves. It has to be the Mitts. Well, now we have better Dark World access, at least. That also means that whatever Blind has is logically hammerlocked. I haven't been counting, but I thought we have all 4 items, but I could be miscounting.
I think we have, actually. The attic had an item.
Yeah, and with that, we also have our prediction outcome.
I thought there were 2 in the front, but actually, I might have also been miscounting. But like you said, the progression had to be in Blind Cell, right? Well, there was a bottle.
We miscounted. There we go.
So it's still possible to not be wrong that there was progression behind a bottle that was also in Thieves' Town.
But with Samaria and Bombos and Hookshot, I'm kind of wondering if you do ice now. Red Mail and Tempered Sword, ice seems like, honestly, not a bad play.
Yeah, that's definitely a choice. I feel like if you want to... Well, it looks like we're getting some Smith checks here. Some other logical choices would be Dark Death Mountain, right?
Which is what Zeke is going for.
Ah, yes. Right, because you get, I think, 6 checks up here?
Right, we still don't have the hammer for Spike Cave, so yeah, it's just 6. And we don't have the mirror to grab that fire rod. But we might be able to open Turtle Rock.
Yeah, they would still need a hammer to get to the portal, though, right?
Oh yeah, right.
It's weird to be an hour in without a hammer, so definitely one of those things. Ooh, and we see a Meyer area check. I like this divergence.
Yeah, can't do checkerboard. But get the 2 items in Meyer Shed, and if we can get into Meyer, we can finish it. That is Quake.
All right, 1 out of 2. So close.
And Ether for Turtle Rock.
So we have reverse vanilla coins today.
Yeah, and we also don't know where Quake is, and that could be anywhere except for inside Meyer or NGT.
Yeah, it looks like Dark Death Mountain was not paying off today.
I really think it's ice.
But we still also don't have the flippers, right?
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, we're in kind of a weird state here.
So where the heck could those flippers be at this point? Like, seriously, we can't do Hera without either the mirror or the hammer. We can't do Desert any further without the boots. We've done as much as we can in Pod.
Oh, chat's got it, I think.
Oh, no. Purple chest.
I think that's it.
Purple chest is
the only
so
thing left in logic.
Painful without the mirror.
Wow. This is a tough one to be playing because you don't, like, everyone, like, we can all see this from our perspective that everyone's doing absolutely everything, but choosing to do purple chest in this stage when there's so much more open around the world, do every other check first is pretty, like, it's pretty common. If you're racing this, you don't know what your opponents are doing, so.
But oh, right, and ice isn't even full clearable without the hammer, even if we broke logic to get into it. You never think about not having the hammer at the hour mark.
Yep, exactly. I wonder if Orange is forgetting he has the mitts. It looks like he's taking the long way back to Dark World to get the purple chest.
Yeah, unless there's something else that we haven't thought of, but I can't think. Oh, I think he just realized. Okay, quick prediction before the purple chest gets turned in here. Is it going to be the hammer or is it going to be something else? Mirror and boots seem the other two real possibilities that could open something up. Though I guess flippers would give us logical access to the first part of ice.
Did Orange go into pod? I don't see his shovel marked on the tracker. I don't.
Yeah, the tracker's just missing it. I remember him doing the dig.
Okay.
Because he has ether.
Yes, good point. Ooh la la, that's what Drosy wanted.
I mean, we've done all the flipper checks. We can't get into swamp without the mirrors, so this incredibly linear seed is forcing us into ice. Which we can't complete without the hammer.
Amazing seed. I'm so glad this one got rolled for this race. It's beautiful. It's the only thing that's really too bad about it is having a red sword available before going into ice. But other than that,
hey, and when did Zeruvian get back into sync with Orange?
it probably had to do with the small mistake of walking back to Aga, walking halfway back to the Aga portal before realizing.
And did anyone check Sick Kid? I missed it if they did.
Yeah, Orange did. I think it was a piece of heart.
Okay. So this chest here in Icebreaker Room is out of logic because if you're not glitching Icebreaker, you have to come from below and that's hammerlocked. But it's just a shield. And in fact, Orange isn't doing Icebreaker.
Chad called it.
Oh boy.
You found 2 items. Do you keep going?
That gives us the first check in Swamp, as well as Tower of Hera and everyone's favorite spots like Cave 45 and Graveyard Ledge. And Bombos Tablet.
Yeah, right. That's correct. You get both tablets with it, and we get the third item. So gotta go. No hammer to finish the boss. See you soon, Ice.
And Zeruvian's breaking of logic definitely paid off there, as we can see by the fact that Orange is still walking around the dungeon. And yeah, I think this makes sense to go up the mountain. We've got 3 checks, 2 items in Hera, and Ether Tablet.
You're saying you wouldn't go into the first chest of Swamp in a seed like this? Just joking, obviously.
Well, it's interesting because then you're close to Cave 45 and then you're close to Bombos, so it's still 3 items in kind of close proximity, just definitely more annoying.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like as you pointed out, without doing icebreaker, Orange is still looking for a third item in ice, which he's not going to find because it's behind the it's in the big key chest.
Yeah. Oh, and there is our hammer at long last.
Oh boy.
And the big key's vanilla. Got to do the bomb setup for Harapots and snow boots and just hope that the second item isn't in the big chest.
Yeah, I think you just abandon it at this point. Sorry, what I mean to say is, you gotta feel behind, right? It's such a weird place to be in a seat like this, where you're an hour before and you just found the hammer after, almost hard. Well, you hard last location the mirror, and then you get up here. So if there's an item in the big chest, then it's gonna stay there for a while, probably, if I were to guess.
Oh, but Zara having trouble with that Harapot. Honestly, you spend this long at it, you might as well take the coffee break.
Yeah, it's getting to that point, isn't it?
Yeah, this is kind of falls into the category of know your limits. If you're not comfortable doing Harapot without boots, at a certain point, it's easier to just... There we go, third time's a charm.
First try on the third attempt? Perfect.
Right. Oof, so now we're 50-50 for where that second item is. So it also does mean, though, that if we had sequence broken ice, we could have gotten the mirror, and that would have made it a lot easier to get the flippers later. But apparently
that's
no
a
one
very
wanted
good
to sequence break ice today.
Actually, yeah, we don't have GFP playing in this race.
Gotta guilt him. He would have been done 10 minutes sooner.
And I say that as a compliment, by the way. I didn't mean to sound like it was like, oh, it's something no one would do, but
oh, he's great. He just clowns.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
And that is our second crystal at 106.
I missed it. Did Moldorm have an item there? Looks like he's leaving, so I would assume yes, but I did not see.
Yeah, and now with the mirror...
no item, okay.
With the mirror, though, we can get that fire rod after using the hammer to open up Turtle Rock, and we can full clear Turtle Rock.
Yeah, that's a very good choice here.
So here's... Yep, Zara going straight for the fire rod. I imagine Orange will do exactly the same thing. Oh, so okay, I got confused for a moment about where Orange was. Was Orange just refilling his magic with that dip into Turtle Rock, or did he forget that he needed to get the fire rod first?
Oh yeah, I didn't notice. I think he just did Hera as well, so I'd assume he has full magic already at this point, or at the point when he tried to enter.
To answer chat, Orange and Zeruvian are effectively tied. Zeruvian's 2 rooms ahead, if you want to be technical, but that's definitely close enough that anything could happen. Yeah, so what else do we need? We need the boots. We need Quake, and that's it, right?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And either of those things could be on pedestal. Oh, never mind. Desert's a pendant. I keep forgetting that, so boots are not on ped.
Oh, good point, good point. Yeah, so we don't necessarily need the boots then, right?
Right. I don't know how it totally escaped me that Desert's a pendant.
You know, it's funny, I was thinking the same thing this entire time. Like, where are the boots? We need the boots, don't we?
It's gonna be a slow seed if we don't find the boots.
It's interesting though if you think about it, right? If like let's say if we find Quake in here, then you know we're in potential go mode. They can just go start knocking everything out. They can still, you know, finish in a solid hour and a half time for a seed like this.
Yeah, otherwise they can do every crystal dungeon except Mire, and it's gonna be a slog with no boots and having to full clear everything because you don't know where Quake is.
I mean, we can only hope it's on ped. That's all I'm saying. The seed's given us some of the most amazing trolliness so far. We want it to continue. That's you know, as viewers, of course.
But we've now opened up a number of dungeons, so the seed's at least gotten less linear.
Definitely, yeah. Except because of the everyone choosing to take Hammer up north to Death Mountain. Turtle Rock was the obvious choice.
Zaro doing the one item from Go Mode meta that says that if you get to the point where it's TR Big Chest or Mimic Cave and you are one item from Go Mode, you check the Big Chest first on the off chance that if it's your Go Mode item, it saves you having to mirror.
Yep, very good choice. Ooh, chat's trying to make it worse for me. I love it. They're offering a fetch quest leading to Quake. Fantastic. Or a fetch quest on ped leading to Quake. Even better. Even better.
Oh, and now that we have Hammer, I hope someone remembers to check Spike Cave after they finish Turtle Rock.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Half Magic and Cane of Burnout is certainly easy enough to traverse. But chances are Quake is sitting here on Laser Bridge because something's always on Laser Bridge.
Maybe the bug net?
That doesn't even open anything.
But it looks cool.
Well, a bottle of blue goo. Nice to have. And with half magic, this Cane of Burna is just going to last us the whole bridge. And no progression.
All right, looks like Ken is dipping into ice to go grab his mirror as well. He'll likely be heading up the mountain next and getting his hammer and fire rod.
I was thinking there's still the possibility that the key's under the doormat and checkerboard.
Yeah, that would almost be too standard at this point, right?
Meanwhile, Skullwoods is our other 5/6, so we have Pyramid Fairy access if we want it. Honestly, now that we have the mirror and the fire rod, I think you do Skullwoods next and check Ped just in case.
Yeah, that's a great next choice.
And then you can combine like Pyramid Fairy and Swamp and some of the mirror checks down there. Okay, Zaro is remembering that Spike Cave is a possibility. And Zeke's not too far behind Zaro and Orange.
All right, what do you think? Is Spike Cave gonna have the answer? I don't feel it today.
Probably not. I mean, Spike Cave so rarely has anything good.
Yeah, Spike Cave doesn't feel trolly enough at this point. You find the hammer up north, and then you walk down here. It doesn't make sense. This kind of seed.
Nope.
We definitely have chat pointing out that Pod is still a green pendant, and we have not defeated the boss because we did not find the hammer until after 1 hour in. So it looks like Zaruvian is doing exactly what you said, Drossi. Great choice.
Yeah, I mean, did we get both items out of Skullwoods? I know we got at least one.
You know, I don't think we did.
So there is
an
an
item. I don't remember
here
as well.
And as we said, it does open up Pyramid. And Orange is doing the same thing because Orange and Zaruvian just have been doing the same thing all seed. It is funny, and I know they're friendly in the community too, so they're clearly not just friends, they also think alike.
Yeah, that's great to see.
here we got Moth. Fire Rod, tempered, half magic, shouldn't be a bad fight. Well, there was our second item.
So what do you think? Swamp Palace to Pyramid Fairy? Maybe some Bombos in the way?
Yeah, fit in Bombos and Cave 45 as well.
Ooh, here we go. What do you think?
I don't think so.
Total bummer.
Yeah, I mean, just because it is locked behind the boots, the odds of Quake being there were pretty low. There's our Bombos check, but that's nothing. Oh, and Orange, right, Orange doesn't know that the last item in Ice is a shield. Which is why we're seeing this divergence now, because Zeruvian knows there are no more items in Ice, he can just finish it whenever he wants.
Yeah, this isn't a bad call, because now he can go in and just, depending if he goes and grabs the last, I don't know. I think he'll probably go in and just kill the boss and see what happens. If there's nothing left, he might abandon the item, but it's hard to say.
He's not going to abandon the item. He's going to do Icebreaker here. It's a bit surprising that he's bothering to hit the switch since he already has the big key.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering too just now as well.
But yes, we are getting our first look at Swamp now. And if Quake doesn't turn up here in Swamp, we're going to have to start doing overworld checks. But Buttersword turns up.
Yeah, not bad. It makes the Ganon fight take exactly the same amount of time.
It'll also make the Cold Stare fight a joke.
That is very true.
It'll make the Vitreous fight a joke, too, if we haven't found Silvers by then, to make it a joke regardless.
Yeah, it also makes it easier to do poke strats on Argus. So what do you think? Oh, never mind. Sorry, I missed something.
Okay, then I won't answer. So that is Orange's fifth crystal. And Zaro, not surprisingly, is hoping he doesn't have to do left side swamp. Have we managed to avoid dungeon items? Might we have the God Swamp here?
I don't remember seeing any.
And what are those?
Now we can go fast. But that also opens up a bunch more checks.
Including whatever the second item in desert is. But definitely helps getting around the map faster. Oh, and orange is giving us a look at Cave 45, which is nothing.
And here we see the poke strats.
But I think now after Pyramid Ferry, you go and you immediately go around the north, and then you can do King's Tomb and Graveyard Ledge and Bonk Rocks. That was a lot of ice rod shots.
Yeah, that was a fantastic phase 2 there.
And there's a dungeon item.
Sorry.
Oh no, I totally agree. It was really nice. But yeah, that dungeon item does mean there's one item on the left side. I don't think they're going to be in any sort of rush to get it. And remember, there's also that item in Hera Big Chest. To answer chat...
Yeah, that's a good point.
To answer chat, not only does open flute mean they started with a flute, they started with an activated flute. Oh, and Ken is going to get that big key, so we will see what's in the big chest.
Oh, go Ken. Imagine if this is Quake.
Doesn't get the coffee break set up, though. If this is Quake, I'm going to cry, because that just adds so much more misery. One nice advantage to beating Aga is you can actually take the big bomb the route the game expects you to take.
Well, there it is. I would say that's as go mode as you can get in Zarubi.
Yeah. So, Zaro is in good shape here. I'm gonna do Mire before Ice even.
Yeah, it didn't look like a spooky setup here.
Do have to find that Mire big key anyway.
I got too excited with the Quake, I missed what was in Hera Basement.
The big key.
Oh, right. Yeah, we're waiting for the big, good call.
Yeah, no, we have to have Ken show us here what is in the big chest.
Yeah, ever since Herapod, I always forget that that this situation happens a lot.
Yeah, it happens more often than you'd like to see it. And I guess Ken doesn't feel comfortable doing the bomb jump to that big chest, so he is going to do it the vanilla way. Just as well the other runners didn't check it.
Perfect. Did we see powder? We haven't seen powder in the seed, right?
No, we haven't. Though Ken can fake powder if he wants.
That's an interesting color palette from Zeke. Very, I don't know, what would you say, like Ninja Turtle Secret of the Ooze?
I didn't like how Pod was black and white on the inside. That just really kind of messed with my head.
Palace of colorlessness.
Because the enemies still had color.
Maybe Mountain Dew Palace? I'm not sure what to call this. And we get the poke strats from Orange as well. Very nice. Misses the zero cycle though. So it's interesting to point out that, you know, we see if Orange goes straight to Pyramid Fairy here and gets his Quake Go mode, then him and Zeruvian are actually still very close because Zeruvian still has to go through Ice Palace. Even though he doesn't have to find the item, there's still time to that. And by the time Orange would get, it looks like he's doing that as well. By the time he gets his Quake, he just goes straight to Mire and does the same amount of time that Zeruvian's taking here, which could end up being about the same amount of time. We could see them entering GT, within less than a minute of each other here.
Oh, it'll definitely come down to their GT basement routing if they take different routes. And meanwhile, Ken had managed to get himself deadrocked on the bridge, which I'm not sure I've ever seen before. As I was saying, that butter sword makes Vitrius a bit laughable even without silvers.
Yeah, it's always great to see. They have a pretty solid loadout here. It's starting to really feel like one of those, did you find the silver arrows in my tower kind of moments that we'll see.
Yeah, I don't see too many other places they could be. I mean, we've got all the boots checks and Graveyard Ledge.
Yeah, definitely stuff that is long abandoned.
And we have whatever item Helmasaur has and whatever's on the green pendant. But yeah, we've full cleared all the dungeons except for whatever Helma has and whatever the second item in Desert Palace is.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. You're right that the likelihood of silvers being in one of the two places is a lot lower than anywhere else, especially GT.
I mean, it would be really funny if Ganon does say, "Did you find the arrows in Desert Palace?"
Yeah, totally. So who do you think gets to GT first? I actually don't really know the timing of these dungeons with the key layouts.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking that Zaru's still got a little bit of a lead because he can just go straight for Cold Stare here. Orange is still looking for the big key. Meanwhile, Ken is doing the long slog through Turtle Rock. Did he not remember to grab his Fire Rod, or is his tracker behind?
I'm not sure, honestly. That's a good question.
Ah, it was the tracker behind. By the
Okay.
way, shout outs to our trackers. We have Sorcerer, Finch, and Philisty tracking for us tonight, which is great because 4 screens is a lot to keep track of. Yeah, there we go. Zara's on the boss, and Orange still doesn't have his... Oh no, he has his big key, but he still hasn't made it downstairs.
Yeah, okay. So it looks like Zaru will be in in GT first. So unofficial guesses in chat. It sounds like, right? It sounds like we have a game coming up.
Yeah, there are 22 checks where the big key could be in GT basement. We have enough runners off screen that we won't run a game formally just in case one of them's already done it. But yeah, number from 1 to 22 where you think that big key will be, and we will go by Zeruvian since he will be the first one in.
Where do you think it's going to be? What would your guess be?
I mean, I think I'll go with my preferred 10.
I'm not sure what Zeruvian's preference is, Dark Magician or right side first, depending on key layouts, but I bet it's in Compass Room if I were to guess. So let's call that 5.
Okay, just to be clear, since it's now coming up in chat, we're not going to run the bot because there are runners off screen, some of whom might have already found the big key. Yeah, how many runners do we have tonight? We have a pretty good turnout. We have an even dozen runners, though one of them has unfortunately forfeited. Actually forfeited fairly early into the race, was probably frustrated with that Light World and Aga progress. So we got a small key, so we can go right.
Looking good so far, skipping the tile room.
For some reason, this room always gives me trouble. I don't know why. But Zaru gets through.
Yeah, it's the mummy room that he's in now that I mess up on a lot.
But yeah, if Orange goes left, this could be interesting, assuming the big key isn't here in Compass Room, which it's not.
Yeah. This, depends if we get it early. There's definitely plenty of races won or lost by the choice of GT routing, going left, right, Dark Magician, or otherwise.
Oh, interesting. Orange is going left despite that small key, so we know that'll make him up some time. Unless, of course, it's in Tile Room. Well, there went my 10.
Yeah, knocking these checks out quick. Shout out to Sonic Buster with the raid. Thanks for joining us, you and your viewers.
Zaru falls victim to the misbehaving Lagamarang. Oh, Orange. Okay, so I really don't understand why you would do this routing that Orange did, given that there's a key on the right. Once you find that key in Hope Room, either you go to Compass Room immediately or you save it for last. You don't go left and then back to right side.
Oh, did Orange go to Dark Magician Room and go right, or go all the way to Rando Room and go right?
No, he went to Dark Magician Room and then went right.
Yeah, that's a tough call to make.
And there it is in Rando Room. Yeah, you can see Orange already took the key off the torch there.
Yes.
Yeah, basically, if you're saying, you know, I'm not going right even though I have a key to do so, then you should commit to not going right.
Yeah, agreed. I've seen some runners go to Rando Room and then go full right after Rando Room to sort of hedge against like finding it in Compass Room, but still getting to do the basement, Ice Harmos, etc., without losing that much time in between. But going to Dark Magician and then coming back, that's a play I haven't seen before.
Yeah. Oh, and I didn't notice when Zaru got it, but I'm noticing it when Orange got it. We finally have powder. Zeke, meanwhile, is here finishing off Ice, and then he will have a Go Mode Mire.
Do you mean strawberry sherbet?
Strawberry Granita, maybe?
Pomegranate Palace. Yeah, the new color palette swaps that they added in with the latest version have been pretty interesting. There's a lot of times you see some very pink swamp palaces, very matte colored dungeons, other dungeons.
Yeah, it's a bit disturbing when it looks like Swamp Palace has a river of blood flowing through it.
Yeah, exactly. Or a radioactive swamp palace. It's like, I wouldn't go swimming in that, Mr. Link, but you know, you gotta save the princess, you gotta save the world, so.
You mean like when it's that yellowish color?
Yeah, exactly.
And while we were talking, Zeruvian made short work of land mode, taking advantage of Fire Rod and Half Magic.
Yeah, definitely with the laser beam strats.
And looks like, again, assuming the tracker isn't lagging, I haven't been keeping close tabs on Ken, but it looks like he's doing Ice without having finished Skull Woods, and he will need to finish Skull Woods to get that Quake.
Yeah, that makes sense. He just finished Tor Rock about a minute ago, so I think he went straight here afterwards.
Hey, there's your bug net.
Oh, thank God. Now we can swag in him strats.
And we got 2 more checks up here where the silvers might be, otherwise we'll find out from Ganon.
Yeah, there's 4 or 5 checks left in GT after validation chest.
6. Because there's the big chest and tile room, as well as Bob's chest and the ones after Ice Armos.
Right. I think I was forgetting Bob's chest. But what about Bob?
Well, Bob was RIP anyway because we took that key off that torch. You know, fun fact, I learned this directly from Vitor, that Bob is a glitch introduced in the randomizer. He doesn't show up in the vanilla game. And the only reason he's still there is because the fans like him.
Oh, interesting. I've definitely seen, wow, it was a very nice Aga 2 fight. But I was going to say, I've definitely seen Bob in Desert Palace in the room before the torch room on Randomizer mode when there's an anti-fairy.
Interesting, because I know they have applied the patch to keep Bob out in Randomizer in GT.
Oh,
because
okay.
they don't want to glitch things there.
All right, so where do we think silvers are?
I don't know. Are you trying to hum while holding your nose closed, though? Yeah, it's not easy. I think he's going to ask us if we found the arrows in the light world. But that's just my guess. Because we still have Graveyard Ledge, King's Tomb, and Bonk Rocks there.
Yeah, there's quite a few places that are easy to skip at this point.
That's a lot of Ganon warps.
Yeah, always fun. Let's see if he gets the torch glitch.
Oh, so it was in the basement. Probably something horrible like Big Chester Tile Room that we were never gonna check.
Man, I hope it was Tile Room, and I hope someone else got it.
And Zaro is well along in Phase 4 as Orange deals with Phase 2 here. And Zeke takes down Vitreous for his 7th crystal, so he'll be going up to the tower now.
Last shot, don't fall off the bridge.
And get your GGs in for Zeruvian, first on our restream and second overall with an official race time of 1:47.16. He was beaten for first place overall by a mere 39 seconds by Edium, who finished at 1:46.37.
Yeah, very close.
Let's see if we can get him in here shortly. He's in the waiting room. We'll just wait for Orange to finish Ganon here and hopefully get them both in at the same time.
Yeah, we can definitely ask them if they had a subconscious mental connection helping them drop the seed. There were a few points of potential points of divergence that I think both runners made the same choice, so it was interesting to see that.
And down goes Ganon for Orange. And as Orange finishes second on our restream, third overall at 1:48.32, we have Zeruvian joining us. GG's, dude.
GG's. Well, that was a ride now, wasn't it?
Yes. Would you like to destroy that seed with a sledgehammer, or do you have another implement you'd like to destroy it with?
I'd like to destroy Pendant Thieves Town because I keep finding mitts in there for some reason.
But everyone else last location did too, so you were good.
Oh, good. I thought I was done for when I did that, because that was a long walk back to Thieves Town with the Dark World access that we had.
Oh, yes, it was. And it was kind of funny because, we were thinking, given that the hammer was clearly not logically available, like, it got to the point where Blind's chest had to either have progression or a small key, because otherwise Blind wouldn't be in logic. But yeah, no, I mean, you followed it. Obviously, there were huge linear parts. You and Orange were quite synced for quite a while.
Yeah, pretty much the entire seed.
I'm going to have to ask him about that when he joins us here. I don't think Orange and I have ever played side to side like that before.
I mean, the big thing was that you did Icebreaker in Ice Palace, and he didn't. We will have to ask him why he didn't, but that was what ultimately gave you an edge over him that you maintained.
And I had gone into Ice Palace thinking, well, we're going to get nothing in the first chest and we'll have to go around it logically, but if we get a key, we can ice break, and hopefully our progression's here, right? And it so turns out it had to be the mirror of all things, so that could send you down a bad path as well.
Wait, was there a small key in the first chest?
There was indeed.
Okay. So that does make sense why you would have chosen an Icebreaker over bomb jumping.
I was thinking if you had fake flippered over to ice, you could have avoided the misery of having to do purple chest without the mirror, but who knew that at the time? And we are also joined by Orange now. GG's.
GG's.
So we were discussing Ice Palace, and you and Zeruvian were really synced for a huge chunk of this seed. You should watch the replay. That there are so many times when you're in the same room. And the place where you actually diverged is Orange. You decided not to do Icebreaker in Ice Palace. Zeruvian did. And that let him get the third item, so he was out once he got 3 items, whereas you cleared everything you could.
Well, I wasn't banking on finding the hammer in there. I thought my progression was going to be something else, and I was right.
I mean, it was the mirror, right?
Yeah, the mirror was in H room. Not H room, it was in U room.
Yeah, I went straight there with that key.
See, I went in there thinking with the key, you ice break, you can get all 3 items if it's hammer or the dungeon's fully in logic. So, skipping the hammer lock check made sense to me at the time.
Yeah.
And we should note that Ken has forfeited and has also joined us here in chat. So the flippers were in purple chest.
Because I went to ice without them.
Oh, you made the spicy play.
That was the Drossi play. Drossi wanted that for a lot of the early part of the seed.
I will admit I did.
Yeah, I will admit for a brief moment I'd considered it, but I wasn't willing to hop into ice without a hammer.
No, there was no way I was touching ice with no hammer. Unless it was a last location, which it was.
Yeah, well, at that point, it was actually in logic once you got the flippers.
Yeah, to be fair, there were a lot of last locations, and I want to say that all of them were made by everyone. So it wasn't like, oh no, you last location, which caused you to get behind. It's more like everyone last location, which caused everyone to be in sync.
I'm just glad you guys did Pyramid Fairy when you did.
Yeah, with everything else being a bad check, I think you had to do Pyramid Fairy coming out of Swamp there.
Oh, there's no question. You do Pyramid Fairy when you're done with Swamp.
Did you both do Bombo's Tablet? I'm trying to remember. I think at least one of you did.
I did Bombo's Tablet before Swamp, because if you get your Go Mode item on Bombo's Tablet, you just get to ignore most of Swamp.
Yeah, I did K45 and Bombo's Tablet before my Swamp clear.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know, one check that was lingering in the back of my mind that entire time that I was like, oh God, do I have to go back to this?
Helma.
Oh, yeah.
No, it wasn't Helma for me. It was Hammer Pegs, because that check and I have a history.
Oh, I didn't even
Oh.
think about hammer pegs.
Oh, I was fully prepared to go back there if Pyramid Fairy didn't have anything.
It would have been Hammer Pegs, Lumberjack check, because I was blind on it the whole seed. Probably do the boots checks and Graveyard Ledge all in one line.
Thankfully, the boots are a gigantic bait this seed.
Let's say they were nice to have, though, were they not?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you don't hate having those in GT climb, right?
That butter sword was a nice thing to turn up in Swamp, too.
It was, yeah.
I was happy to have 3 swords early because a lot of the time it's just like, oh God, where are my swords lately with the tournament seeds floating around? But this one was a nice change of pace. One thing I do wish I didn't have early were the males, because it might have incentivized me to do at least the front 2 of Thieves Town, and that would have felt even worse, actually.
Yeah, when I got to Dark World, I spent, about 2 or 3 minutes cursing myself for actually picking up that red mail at Catfish. I do not want mail upgrade. I do not have mirror.
Yeah, it was a pretty healthy seed early, too.
So, Orange, how'd you like that hammer location?
It wasn't as bad as those Mitts location. I mean, just do back of Hammerless Pendant Thieves Town. Just do Hammerless Ice Palace.
So I'm just thinking, Pod was completely worthless. No, Pod gave you Ether, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ether was the entry to TR.
Yeah, allowed me to go straight to TR after Hera.
Okay, so yeah, 2 out of 3 pendant dungeons were actually required. And Desert was just too easy when you got the book that early, and then of course your boots walked out of it.
I mean, it's an easy thing to just rule out right away. If you're an open flute or you have an early flute, the game gives you book. You look at the ledge, you look at the middle item. If you know your boot's locked, you have a straight shot to Agena, and you never have to worry about orphaning it.
Oh, Orange, as your GT Big Key count goes by in the credits here, I did want to ask about your GT basement routing.
That's called Pink Magician.
I thought Pink Magician was you do that, you don't get the key in Hope Room, and then you do that routing. It's a bit more unusual to do that routing when you get the key in Hope Room.
It's Hope, Stelphos, Compass, and then full left.
Oh, okay, I was wondering that as well. That's a new thing for me.
I mean, I was going to do my usual Dark Magician, but I think that would have lost even more time, and I couldn't really spare the arrows for Armos Knight, since when I do Dark Magician, I do the full thing.
Yeah, it just unfortunately ate you up a little bit more time.
Yeah.
Zara went full right and then full left.
Yep.
No, I went compass and then left.
I mean, right to compass and then left. I didn't mean full right to Armos.
So silvers are probably... Oh, God. Did you have silvers, Orange?
No.
Oh, boy.
Did you both grab the 4 ascent chests?
I did. Most of them were 20 rupees.
So it's behind ice armors,
Yeah,
or
it has to be.
chest, or
Has to
in
be one of those
tile
bad
room.
chests.
Tile room's
with-
always going to be number 22.
With the keys popping in like they were, I considered memeing tile room for just a moment, but I don't think that was a good idea.
Maybe the silvers were in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but then it ends up being time neutral at best with the amount of time saved on Ganon, and that's not saying much.
That is true. And speaking of memeing, Zeke just did get off a nice swagnet hit on Aga 2.
That sounds like Zeke to me.
After that Agate 2 kill,
That's my teammate.
after that Agate 2 kill, I checked race room, and I was like, how are people not done yet?
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of walking from Aga Portal to, well, everywhere.
Last located
hammer.
blitz, last located flippers, last located mirror.
At least it wasn't last locate hammer.
So another thing that we noticed too is like you find the lamp and the first glove next to each other, and I think if you find just the lamp in Saha, you have 2 more checks in Eastern, 2 to 3 more checks in Eastern to consider. But everyone basically went straight to Eastern instead of just saying, this is an Aga seed, I'm going to do Aga. Is that pretty standard, like the way you guys think about that? Like, I'm going to keep looking until I've exhausted everything? Or is there a limit where you say, you know what, this is probably Aga, I'm just going to Aga? Because at that time, I think everyone had a Moon Pearl.
I think
varies
Straight
from
to
player to
Agile, I
player
didn't do
because
Eastern.
some people will just say, I am not doing a bolus Eastern Palace, I'm going straight to Aga. Others will be like, well, there's maybe one item that lets me avoid doing Aghanim, so maybe, and I'm right there, so dip Eastern. That was not the play though, because Eastern was totally empty.
Oh, Eastern was trash.
And as Oscar the Grouch says, I love trash.
Yeah, the Aga call really is, it's a person-to-person thing. It's also a seed-to-seed kind of thing. Because if you have one item just kind of pop up like the glove might, if that was, say, a mirror, then you're talking about doing a different series of checks. And, depending on what items the seed gives you, you might feel a little bit more inclined to dodge going to Aghanim early. But in this case, that would have been, exactly as we saw. Going and checking literally everything did not help.
Oh, and poor Zeke did not get the torch glitch here.
Oof.
Oh no.
Yeah, it looks like he did the move where you kind of swing the torch to the left, but it fires up instead of left.
That said, he's doing pretty well. I hope he still has that blue goo. He's fine.
Yeah, blue goo, a red goo, and a bee, I think I found, and just never really thought about ever again.
Yeah, I noticed you tried to throw the bottle in anyway in Pyramid Fair.
I was like, wait, I have a bee,
She
never mind.
complained.
I was like, well, I probably don't need it, but it's better to have it than not to have it.
Oh, I released mine ASAP.
I don't even think about it.
You don't try and have the bee help you with moth?
Oh, heck no.
No, you never do that.
No, if you saw my moth kill, I don't need a bee to help me with moth.
And that'll do it for Zeke on Ganon, by the way. So get your GGs in for him for sticking out this seed past the 2-hour mark. As he finishes 3rd on Restream and 8th overall, 201.45.
I went to Aga immediately after getting the gloves and the lamp. I didn't even do Eastern.
Oh, I don't think I realized that. Well, that was, in retrospect, the right call.
I knew it had to
Yeah,
be.
that's right. I remember seeing you do Eastern last.
And we have Zeke in here with us. GG.
GG.
Wow, that seed sucked.
Why are open flute seeds always
Such a
horrible?
bad seed.
I've never seen an open flute seed before. You guys have played it before?
Yes, and the last time I played it, it was ped seed. An Aga ped seed.
Hey, at least this was only Aga, not Ped.
Flutes all dungeons.
My experience have not been good in my history of playing it, so.
So, Zeke, any thoughts on this mess?
I don't think I can say most of them on air.
Is that the 3rd time we've seen Mitz in that particular spot, in that particular dungeon, with that particular prize?
No. The last 2 times we've seen it it's been a green pendant.
Which makes it even worse.
I've seen vanilla mitts in Pendant Thieves, but you guys didn't have the hammer.
I almost went for the Thieves Dive anyways, and then I decided I'd look for a hammer in the South Shore first. Or in the South Dark World.
Well, I believe everyone did that. Everyone did everything they could to avoid hammerless thieves.
Yeah, and everyone did everything they could to avoid purple chest too.
I didn't.
That was fun.
I did it quite quickly, I believe.
Oh, but before you even got your mitts? No, you can't do it without mitts.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, that scene was atrocious.
It really was.
Well, you know, there was nothing on head, so.
Did anyone else say, okay, let's hope for Quake not on pedestal and give it a read?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep, I checked pad after Skull Woods.
About the only good thing I can say was Mothil was easy today.
The way I see it, if Quake was on ped, then that would change my go mode I'm looking for from Quake Medallion to Boots.
Yeah, I was thinking of that at the time, that like it seemed pretty unlikely that it would actually be on ped just because you hadn't turned up Boots yet.
Yeah, it was one thing we didn't notice was that was Swamp Palace map compass left side Swamp Palace today?
Map big key and a 20 rupee.
Ah, okay.
I don't know, I skipped left side.
Yeah, I felt like I wasn't going to bother with left side that late and go -1.
Yeah, I mean that seemed reasonable. You almost had the God Swamp until Argus dropped the compass.
What a waste of a God TR.
I know, right?
But you got the blue goo.
Yeah, and
That I
it
never
literally saved my
used.
It literally saved my Ganon fight.
That's a good
There you
point.
go. So yeah, I'm curious how your collection rate, Zeke, compares, because Zara and Orange have pretty similar ones at the end of the day.
You want me to hit the fast forward so we can get there sooner?
I mean, we're pretty close at this point anyway.
Fair enough.
So what was of the runners here? What was your favorite troll item of the seed? Because there were plenty to choose from, I think.
I'm gonna have to go with the mirror in hammerless ice blocking the hammer in Tower of Hera.
Hammer.
Yeah, hands down hammer. That mirror is in a bad spot, but the hammer is in a really bad spot with so many other isolated checks in front of it.
So actually, that brings up a good point. That this is one of the places where I was wondering if there would be potential divergence. Is that, from what I remember, I think Zeruvian and Orange both got the mirror and went straight to Hera, where the mirror does open a bunch of kind of gross checks in the overworld, but like the straight to Hera play was just like, let's do Hera. You know, I'm guessing like it was a crystal dungeon. Let's go do Hera, see what's there. Is that kind of the thought process you had there, or was there another
Two
reason?
things. One, it was a clearable crystal, and two, I wanted my fire rod.
I didn't even think of Hera. I just wanted my fire rod.
I knew I was thinking about the fire rod the entire time going up, but I still had Ether, Spike Cave, and Hera. So I'm like, okay, we're going to do Hera, and then if we don't find anything, we can drop down and grab fire rod and proceed as usual.
I also, since I knew fire rod was on Floating Island from an earlier check, and I knew that TR was Ether, I knew I was going to be able to do TR while I was up there. So that was well, if Hammer was up there at least. Because as soon as I got Hammer, I was like, okay, I'm going straight to TR when I'm done.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I went for the TR play mostly because I knew if nothing was in TR, it was still a case where I'm looking for things, and TR is just as slow in go mode as it is in not go mode.
Did anyone bother picking up the big key in Hera, or did everybody Herapot?
Herapot.
Missed the Herapot, tried to go up without it, and then landed the Herapot second try.
I'm laughing because I
Ken
had some
actually grabbed
shenanigans. I had some shenanigans happening with my Herapot, and I know exactly what it was. I left a bomb on that big magic when it came down. I'm like, son of a gun.
Yeah, I remember that. You grabbed the magic.
The hook grabbed the magic, and I just, muscle memory said I'm going to walk out of it, and I'm just like, oh, come on.
Yeah, that's right. Ken grabbed the big key and got the mushroom in the big chest.
Oh, is that where that was? Okay.
I was wondering where my last fetch quest was.
Yeah, that shovel and pod was fun.
Pretty rich seed, all in all, too.
Yeah, I mean, you guys had Zora money so quickly. Zara, you did. Houlihan, of course, but everyone else, even without Houlihan, got Zora money in no time.
Yeah, I was quickly regretting my Houlihan decision, but I figured I wanted the money and I wanted to be able to buy bombs and not skip anything. And it so turns out there were no bombs in Kakariko's checks in the north side, so it worked out for me. Actually, I don't think there were any bombs in Kak at all. You'd have to buy them.
I think you're right.
That's what I did. That was one of the most awkward openers I've ever done, but I bought bombs right away.
I know my opener was one of the worst things I've ever watched myself do.
What did you do?
Uncle start flute the floodgate to get the 50 rupees and then flute Kakariko.
Yeah, actually, you know what that reminds me of? When we were watching on the stream, we were all everyone was trying to figure out, okay, what's the progression in the Dark World? It's probably an Aga seed, but just in case it's not, we realized that nobody had done Hyrule Castle, and everyone went at basically the same time. It was like this huge, okay, we've done everything else. Let's go to Hyrule Castle next. But then we saw some people start in the back, some people start in the front, etc., etc. Eventually get to Aga.
I was very upset at the map in Zelda's Cell.
Did you do the? I think Zeruvian, you went back to front, right?
I did front and then said, well, this is going to be the longest death warp ever. Let's do the back. Because I believe I had 8 hearts blue at the time. And that means you're sitting there for a minute just to go to the Dark Cross check, and to have to death warp out of the back is a pain anyway.
Yeah, I was strategically taking damage throughout escape, knowing I was going to death warp and knowing that a heart container Zelda cell wasn't going to fill me.
See, every time during this entire seed that I thought I was going to try to set up a death warp, I ended up killing an enemy and having a heart drop on my head. And that includes the front of escape. I was like, okay, we can death warp out of here if we just keep running into stuff. And then it's like, oh, you dropped a heart. Oh, you dropped a heart. Well, okay, we'll just save and quit out of Zelda cell. That's fine.
I'll admit, I saw the mirror in Ice Palace, and my first thought was Hammer and Pyramid Fairy.
Oof.
Yeah, that's totally the thing.
I have never been so glad to have been wrong, and then I still have to go to Pyramid Fairy.
Yeah, I mean, by the time you had Fire Rod to put Skull Woods in logic, you already had Hammer anyway.
Yeah, and it's not one of those nightmare scenarios where you realize, Hammer's in Pyramid Fairy, but you don't know how to do the bomb loop. So you're like, well, I guess I have to go do Aga, and get my hammer.
Hey, Naga was a Dark World access, so it wouldn't have been a big deal.
Exactly.
Oh, Orange, I'm just realizing you skipped the upstairs checks in GT. You never got your swag net.
I mean, I'm in go mode. And I have a butter. What more could I want other than silvers?
Exactly, silvers.
Yeah, but I was pretty confident in my silver list that I don't really need it.
I even made sure to use the bug net on at least one hit of Aga 2. Just for chat.
Yeah, we saw that. It was a good fight.
But I think that's going to do it here. It is 1:15 in the morning for those of us on the East Coast. Yeah, GG's again. Thanks for sticking out this awful seed.
I think you mean awesome, Drosy.
That depends. Are you a runner or are you Chad?
I just wish someday I'd calm a seed that isn't so linear.
I mean, again, that depends. Do you do Ice Palace without flippers? Or
No flippers, no hammer.
And hammer? Exactly. But yes, GG's runners. Thanks for putting on a great show.
GG's.
Yeah, GG. Thanks for the restream. Thanks for commentary and tracking. And of course, a huge thank you to Speed Gaming for putting these on as always.
Everything Zaru just said.
Everything Zaru just said.
And once again, give our runners a follow. You can see their Twitch stream names in chat there. The next thing we have coming up here is actually Wednesday's daily race, which will be here on Speed Gaming 2 at 2 p.m. We're going to have that Stand Hard mode, which we're now featuring 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, to help runners get ready for the main tournament. I assume all you guys who raced today are also practicing that mode for the main, yes?
Zaru and I have been running them repeatedly.
I like to think of these seeds as pre-season.
They practically are.
I mean, it's spring training, right?
But it's not spring yet.
Maybe not where you live.
But the calendar says it's not spring yet.
It's pre-season before all the competition starts. You got your main tourney, then whatever is planned for the summer, then anything that might show up in fall.
Well, by fall, we're already talking League Season 4.
Probably.
That's exciting.
Awesome. Well, thanks, everyone. Thanks again.
But yeah, thanks again, and thanks again to our trackers here. Sorcerer Finch and Philisty. And Homemade Beer, thanks for joining me on this. Always fun to work with you.
Yeah, definitely, Drosy. Always a pleasure. Looking forward to the next time.
Sounds good. But with that, I think we're going to do it for tonight.